Hi everyone, this is Chris. You can reach out to me, Chris, at hotelrevenueman.com. People often ask me, how do you do revenue management? What does that mean? Not what's the concept, but when you sit down at your computer and it's trying to look at your property, we're talking about hotels specifically this time. What do you do first and what do you do next? So this is some of my most valuable information. This is what hoteliers will hire me to teach them. I thought I'd go ahead and just share this information with you. I'm giving it to you all right here, so you don't have to wait for it, but I'll go ahead and explain each one of these and give you some examples. First thing I want to know is historical information. The most valuable information at a hotel property for revenue management is historical information. So right now, let's say we're third week in April. April's a slower time in our area. If I have information from last year for this date, for April, I've got a good idea for weekdays and weekends where I know exactly what the rates were and what they produced. For instance, if I had a $100 rate on the third weekend in April and we were 70% full, then I know I'm probably going to be about $100. And maybe if I lowered it to 90, maybe I can get it to 80% occupancy. So as a revenue manager, I'm a professional guesser. Revenue managers can be more accurate the more information that they have. So this is a good piece of information and gets us in the right area. Tell hoteliers you don't have to make the exact right decision for a rate for the future date. You just have to make a good one and get close and then watch it. And then you adjust the rate up and down based on pickup and some other factors. So you just got to make a good decision and watch it. If it's stuck, then you lower your rate. If it's picking up too fast, filling up your property too fast, and you're going to sell out early, then you can raise to slow down those bookings. Historical information, what might that look like? It might look like the same time last year we just talked about. Also, a lot of times when I get clients, they say, oh, we don't have last year's information because there was a fire or the computer crash or we switched systems and somebody lost the old files. Usually about half the time I don't have that last year information. Well, what we could see is last week. So if we're at the third week in April, and April's probably consistent, weekdays, weekends. If weekdays were 75 and weekends were 90, and those produce decent occupancy, you know about what that's going to do. So if you have the same rates, again, you probably know what occupancy is going to produce. You can lower to increase occupancy, or you can increase rates to lower occupancy, depending on what it is you're trying to do. So we got last year, we've got last week. Is it a weekend? Is it a weekday? In our area, and this is what is typical, at least here in America, weekdays are less busy than weekends. During the week, which is going to be Sunday night to Thursday night, during the week, people are in school, people are working, they are typically not traveling. On the weekend, which is going to be defined as Friday and Saturday night, it typically is busier. So maybe you'll get $75 for a weekday, $90 for a weekend. Is it a holiday? Is it a holiday that's the town's going to sell out? Well, if that's true, supply and demand, there will be not enough supply of rooms because the town's going to sell out. Well, then that's going to meet the high demand. Well, then you're going to want to raise your rate to make sure you capitalize on that. For whatever time frame historically you're looking at, last year, last week, if it's a typical holiday weekend or weekday, what was the rate for a specific room type or ADR, average daily rate, and what was the result? If you know that a $90 rate in April gets you 70% occupancy, and that's probably what's going to happen again, or at least something close. So first, look at historical information. Then look at your comp set. Your comp set is your competitive set. Now, I'm going to go ahead and provide a link for you here. I have a video on comp set. If you're not sure what that is or what that looks like, pause this, click through over there, get familiar with that. It is your competitors. This video will tell you how to put that together and just some real clean, easy steps. So you look at your comp set. If you have a $90 rate and you have a hotel that is not as good as you, and they are at $100 rate, they're more expensive. They might know something that you don't, or maybe your rate is too inexpensive. If there's a property that's nicer than yours and you're priced at $90 and they're priced at 80, well, then they're probably going to steal out of those customers. So you might need to adjust your rate. Word of caution when you're looking at your competitors, your comp set, you're making one big assumption that might not be true. You're making an assumption that they know what they're doing. It is possible if you were to hire a revenue manager like me, you might be the only one in your comp set who's taking that extra effort. So comparing yourself against somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, they might just be making mistakes. But still, remember, we are gathering as much information as we can, and what your competitors are doing, that's really important information. So we at least want to know it, even if we don't directly act on it. Next, what we want to do is shop. So I put on my cap and I pretend that I'm a traveler. I'm going to come to this area on this date, and I'm going to shop and see what the rates look like. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm in Branson, Missouri, and this is for the this upcoming weekend. This is tomorrow. Let's just see what rooms cost. Now, usually when you pull, I use Expedia. You can use other sites. Other sites are fine. There are some sites, if you do 2 days, it takes the rate of 2 days and puts it in one giant bucket, and then they'll give you a price. Instead of $100 a night, it'll say $200. Well, sometimes Friday is a different price than Saturday, and I just want to know the daily rate because that's what's in my property management system, and that's what I need to adjust. So I'll go Expedia. Sort by recommended. Recommended by whom? By Expedia, which means these people probably gave them money. So that doesn't give me any information. I usually will go low to high. If you have a higher end property, you probably can go high to low so you can get to it sooner. We're just going to see if we were a regular guest traveler, where we would go. Doing this also lets you know the cheapest rooms in Branson looks like are about $50. So it gives us kind of bookends to know where's the lowest, where's the highest, where are we falling. And whenever you see your property, then you want to, then it will give you an idea if it's out of place. You're like, wait, I'm hanging around with some of these different properties that maybe don't have as good of a score. Well, I should probably raise my rate because I can demand a higher rate. Okay, this is another thing you're going to find. This has happened in recent years. Vacation rentals or condos or apartments or whatever you want to call them are coming on. Now, I think it's good to at least do a quick scan before you filter those out because it gives you information. If you have a $100 hotel room and there's a luxury 3-bedroom vacation rental unit, it's $10 cheaper than you. I mean, I don't know how you compete with that. It's good information to have. But with this being a hotel website and you're trying to check other hotels if you're priced correctly, do a quick scan just to see what's out in the real world, and then I like the hotel filter. Gives you more information. Let's pretend we're $100. I'm going to scan fast. Hopefully it doesn't make you sick. We'll get there quicker now that we filtered out vacation rentals. We'll see what hotels are at $100 just for fun. Okay, so we're shopping like a regular consumer. Also, you can be scanning the reviews because if there's one that's more inexpensive than your property and it's got better reviews, you might need to make some movement on rate there. Okay, we passed 100. Okay, so this property at 8.4 rating is at 99. For 102, this is at 7.6. You might look at location and things like this. You just want to see where your property falls and see if it makes sense. If you're hanging with lesser properties, maybe that's a clue to bump it up. If you're hanging with more expensive properties with better reviews, it might be hard to get those bookings, so you might need to adjust your way down. We looked at historical info last year, last week, weekdays, weekends, holidays. What was the rate and result? We looked at our competitors, our comp set to see what they look like, make sure we're where we like to be. Then we went and shopped. So we're getting a really good idea of what our rate was. Maybe we started guessing it's 100 and maybe we are deciding we want to bump it up or down. Next real important piece of information. This really helps unlock a lot of value, and a lot of people are going to say, I don't know how to get that information. But I'll give you some guidance, so hang on. I call these guideposts. It means you need to know your pacing. So if we are looking at someone's property and trying to price 4 weeks out, a month out, we need to look at how full it is right now. If we're a month out and it's 10% booked, is that good or bad? With the typical demand curve for your property in your area at that time, is that what's typical? When I first was a revenue manager, I couldn't find this information, so I decided to develop a system to start tracking it. You're probably going to want to know how full it needs to be 1 month out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out. If you want your property, I'm going to make up these metrics, 25% full a month out. I'm not saying that's good or bad, just for the sake of argument. If you want it 25% full a month out, because that's the typical demand curve, and you look at a specific date a month out and it's only 10%, that tells you you're behind pace. In a situation like that, typically you would lower rate and you want to watch that date to make sure it starts getting some bookings. If it's still stuck, the market's telling you you haven't gone cheap enough. I've developed a pickup sheet. Now I made videos on how to build this, and then I took it down because it's such valuable information and this is what people hire me to show them. But I recently decided to put those back on. And so if you want to take the time and effort to develop a pickup sheet, you can. If you want to purchase a finished product from me because I've already done it, that's fine too. But that information is available, and you'll see a link here to the first video, and that's a series of 5 videos. And that might be a fun project for you if you're looking for something to do. Here's what it looks like. Let's give you a peek. This is a pickup sheet. So up here at the top this is like a timeline. So if this were a timeline of someone's life, this is when they were born and as they get older. So this is the 15th of a month, 16th of a month, 17th. So what would happen is someone will go in and record occupancy for future dates. These are weekdays, weekends. So let's just take a date and watch it grow. This is kind of neat. This is 1 week. This is about 2 weeks out. It's close. It grew this specific date. It looks like it's Friday the 13th. Okay, that's unlucky in America. 39th, it grew 1%, 0%, 1%. Over the weekend, it grew 6%. And it looks like we went $3 down. When we dropped that $3, watch this, overnight, plus 12%. Plus 3, plus 7. There's a really big pickup there. 25? Wow. So people really shopping. This is Thursday. This is Friday. And then Friday morning it was at 94 and finished at 98. It probably was sold out. That last 2%, they probably couldn't get rooms to match up for a multi-night stay. So this is a big help. If you're looking 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks out and you're 20% full for this weekend, is that on pace or is it not? If you say it's too full, because I know how my property typically fills up, you can see it growing here, and we're going to fill it too fast, and you can go ahead and raise your rates. And if it's just empty, 3%, 4%, 5%, and it's not going to fill up in time, then you can go ahead and lower your rates. So being able to know your guideposts, how full your property should be at any given time, and then making those adjustments is a really big help. Historical info, look at your competitors, shop like a consumer, and then know how full your property is and track that. If you need some help with that, please reach out to me. I help hotels all over the nation and even talk to people in different countries. Give them some guidance and can even help your property on a regular basis. Chris at hotelrevenueman.com. Thanks for your time.